The responsibility of leaders at historic moments in any nation's history is not just to canvass to win elections. Our duty to God and to our fellow citizens is to speak and act on the truth that sets people free. The inability to do so has been the major failing of African leadership, with tragic consequences for our continent and our people. No great economy has ever been built on the populist programs most African politicians seduce voters with. Programs everyone knows can only work if the economy is vibrant and healthy. In the 90s, the Small Enterprise Development Corporation, SEDCO, gave loans that were never repaid to thousands of youths to start businesses. Today, no businesses exist from those loans. Although many programs launched by ZANU-PF over the years have imploded, that has not stopped them from inventing new ones when the next election season comes around. Youths need the economy as a whole, not just special programs to work for them. In our country's dysfunctional context, those classified as youths include people who are in their mid-30s, young adults and young parents who should be at the peak of their earning potential. By the time I was 26, I was married and already had 2 university degrees under my belt, and I was working. At 33, I was the head of a family of 4. What I needed was a job or an environment where I could build a successful business to support my family. I needed the ability to purchase a home, not a Bodagezi program designed to get my vote without securing mine and my children's future. There is no difference between promising free agriculture inputs and saying we'll give every youth loans or the internet. Access to the internet or to any of the ICTs is not synonymous with development. Practically everyone in Zimbabwe has a mobile phone, but that does not mean our economy is healthy. We can set up technology hubs, but even those can't survive in an unhealthy economy. Any that exist today survive because of support from NGOs and outside funds, something which is not sustainable and impossible to leverage to create a new economy. At a historic moment like this, we must be wary of politicians who will tell us what we want to hear. The reality is that there are fundamental issues that need to be dealt with to build a healthy new economy. Over 1 million of our youth and young adults work in the 6th largest informal sector in Africa as artisanal and small-scale miners. Their fortunes will not change because of youth interface rallies or being able to go online. Their desperate need is for access to real and formal capital, access to markets and technology. So to support them, a Build Zimbabwe Alliance government will revise the Mines and Minerals Act to set lower fees for small-scale operators, purchase gold from the informal sector at competitive prices, and set up a 300 to 500 million small-scale mining support fund by 2023 from proceeds from the mining sector. We have a responsibility to ourselves and to our children's children to vote in 2018 not for those who peddle the false hopes of a Santa Claus presidency that will solve all our problems through government programs, but for those who will be honest with us about how challenging the road ahead will be and the proper role of government in building an economy that will reward everyone. In a contest of who can promise the people the most freebies, the politician will always win. But in a contest for transformational leadership and enduring solutions, the nation builder must prevail. Zimbabwe, ilizwe lethu, ilifa lethu. Zimbabwe, our country, our heritage. Zimbabwe, nyika yedu, naka yedu.